Struan Stevenson, Conservative MEP for Scotland, a vote which could have seen a ban on the deep sea. It didn't end up that way. How damaging would it have been if MEPs had supported a ban on deep sea fishing?
Well, it would have been a catastrophe. Listen, we are absolutely behind protecting vulnerable marine ecosystems, and the compromise thrashed out over many months of hard work, talking to the sector, talking to the scientists, talking to the politicians. We thrashed out a compromise that was supported by all the political groups, bar the Greens, but even they didn't vote against it in committee. They abstained. And then we get this betrayal of the whole rules of parliamentary procedure with amendments being submitted that tried to reintroduce a one-size-fits-all ban on all deep-water trawling over the whole of Europe. That would have destroyed 700 vessels that the Commission themselves say are engaged in this fishery, thousands of jobs, and whole communities like Kinlochbervie on the west coast, the Northwest Highlands, which relies entirely on deepwater fishing, fishing on sand and gravel on the continental slope, down to 900 metres, catching things like megrim, saithe, monkfish, and that would just have been wiped out by this really disastrous attempt to introduce this one-size-fits-all ban. I'm glad, that we saw sense in this. A huge majority, 567 votes in favour of the compromise from the Fisheries Committee, only 91 votes in favour of the ban.
Environmentalists have a different perspective. They say that deeper than 600 metres, the ecosystems are very vulnerable, they need protection, and they're worried about the future of fish that live down there. Have you endangered the future of those species?
We actually had a hearing where we had the scientists from ICES present. We had scientists who'd been involved in what was called the Deep Fishman project at a cost of 13 million euros, involving 9 different member states with all their scientists. Both of them said a total outright ban would be absurd. ICES said the endangered deepwater species were now recovering and that it would be pointless to introduce a total ban. This was being promoted by some green NGOs who've gone completely over the top. I received a leaflet, and I think all MEPs did, from one particular NGO which claimed that deepwater trawling, if it's allowed to continue, would kill all marine life and even would wipe out future cures for cancer in human beings. That's the kind of over-the-top rubbish that people were being lobbied with. And I'm glad the vast majority of MEPs saw sense.
Do you nonetheless accept the need for better protection in the deep sea? Do you accept that it is a vulnerable environment? I mean, there are stats that talk about the age of the fish that live down there, that live for, I don't know, hundreds of years, that it is rather different to other parts of the seas.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely accept that, and the compromise proposal that we voted in favour of today absolutely accepts that. We're doing a risk-based, targeted approach now. We will avoid fishing, deepwater fishing and trawling on any areas that have vulnerable marine ecosystems. We'll have observers on all the boats. If a fisherman finds inadvertently that they're going into an area that might have corals or other sensitive ecosystems, which they, by the way, want to avoid like the plague because it snags their nets and wrecks their gear. Fishermen don't aim to go into these areas at all. If they discover any of these areas, they must report them immediately, move out, and those areas will then be ring-fenced and no further fishing will ever be allowed. We've done everything possible to provide total protection. We're not targeting these endangered species that take 20 years to mature, like grenadier, like orange ruffy. All of that is going to stop. I think this is a very good final decision that's been taken today, and I think the attempts to introduce a one-size-fits-all ban were disastrous, catastrophic, and I'm glad they were kicked into touch.